you don't mind me asking, what kind of volume are you guys doing per year?
The last couple of years, we've done around 7 to 10 million a year. This year,
Wow.
we're really trying to go after that like multi-A figure mark.
Welcome to Seven Figure Entrepreneur Podcast, the number one podcast bringing you behind the scenes with real online earners. No fake gurus here. And today we have the wonderful Mike Zhang, and we also have the wonderful Tyler Devon. Just three Canadian boys all hanging out,
That's
right? You're in
right.
Toronto, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were passed on to us from the wonderful Alex Miller. She is
Love
a
Alex.
gem, and her
Is.
story is amazing, right?
Amazing. Yeah. It's incredible what she's done in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, the come up kid. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, I have like all the drinks here. I'm trying to get all the energy. I had a terrible
Oh,
sleep last night, so I'm really just
I have the same too.
yeah, nice, man. Yeah, I got some BCAAs here. Look at us.
So we
Look
all
at
got the
us.
protein shake. It's hilarious.
Mhm.
Doing what we can.
Mhm.
Oh,
Bring the
dude.
people the goods.
Yeah, this is what it takes, guys. Sacrifice.
That's
We're all
right,
gonna
man.
crash after.
Yeah.
Well, man,
um,
it's a pleasure to meet you, dude. If
Yeah.
you don't mind, because I'm not even actually as familiar, man. Can you tell us your background a little bit and what you specialize in?
Yeah, for sure. So I used to do Muay Thai competitively. I fought for Team Canada and traveled around. And when I retired from fighting, somebody said I should make kind of like a P90 style workout program. So I made it. It was called, the hook of it was basically get a body to look like a fighter without having to step in a ring and get hurt. So then we did that. Then afterwards, a lot of my clients started asking me what supplements I took. So I was promoting other people's stuff via kind of like affiliate stuff. And
Mhm.
then one day we decided to just open up our own product. So we launched like greens, some probiotics, everything that I took myself. And then that's basically all we do now is basically we use ads and affiliate marketing to sell our supplements.
Crazy.
mhm.
You don't mind me asking, what kind of volume are you guys doing per year?
The last couple of years we've done around 7 to 10 million a year. This year
Wow.
we're really trying to go after that like multi-A figure mark. But
Yeah.
we've had a couple of hiccups this year. Like shit was just not sticking until like maybe I'd say like mid like a little bit earlier than mid this year when things started, it seemed like things started picking back up. And then we've been just like really trying to catch up like for the year.
Nice.
So yeah. Yourself?
Crazy, man. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. How long you been in the online industry?
I used to be an engineer actually up until I was 24, and then I quit my job when I was in 2017. No, 2000, yeah, 2017 is like the day I quit my job and went all in on this.
Very cool. So you were
Hmm.
you were fighting and an engineer until then, and then you flipped the switch.
Hmm.
And then how
Yep,
long has that been? So 2017. So you've only been in this
five
this
years,
5 years, hey?
5 years. Yep, 5 years. Yep.
Yeah, man, good for you. You definitely growing fast. Certainly much faster
Yeah,
than I did.
that's
Thanks.
amazing, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I had a couple of friends that were doing it, so I just kind of like copied them essentially. Like I kid you not,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, that worked for them, so I'm gonna just like click other
Dude,
click bankers,
test
right?
leaves
Like.
clues, hey?
Dude, honestly, that's like the best like advice you can give anyone. And it's so funny because everyone comes in and they have all these ideas and think like they're going to reinvent the wheel with all this shit and just like take what's working, duplicate it, and then mod it so it like grows into something different along the way,
Yeah, make it your
like
own.
right? Like once you have that proven success, that's when you can start testing and doing like crazy stuff and see if you can just really make big changes in your company. So that's awesome. Like I'm glad
Damn,
you
good for
said
you,
that.
bro. That's amazing. How big is your team? What's it take to run a shop like that?
Right now we're about probably 9 to 10, 9 to 12.
Nice.
Our customer service team fluctuates depending on the volume that we run.
Yeah.
So yeah, 9 to 12 consistently.
You know what I love about this business? Think about revenue per employee.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah,
You do like
massive.
$1 million a year. I always tell people,
Hmm.
I think the online opportunity is the greatest opportunity that exists for the average everyday person, just because your ability to grow and generate revenue per employee, because most of the time you're just recycling more money.
Hmm.
It's more like, I mean, everything else is fairly systemized, where your traditional brick and mortar, like to do $10 million a year, could you imagine what it would take?
Yeah, yeah. I think I was reading the book Scaling Up, by the purple one, and they're
Mhm.
saying like a really efficient company is like 150,000 per employee, like a Forbes Fortune company.
Yeah.
And almost everyone that I know that runs like an 8-figure supplement or even like an email list company, they're doing like 4 or 5, if not like 7 times that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
I love
So
it, man.
cool.
Good comparison. Let's
Yeah.
so going to the supplement business, man. Like I'm so curious, like as far as like stick rates and stuff like that. Because I know a lot of, do you sell, actually that's a good question to start with. Do you sell on a residual per month basis where people subscribe?
We do both.
So you so kind of walk me through it a little bit. What does that look like?
So we have continuity and just straight sale.
Hmm.
So continuity, we sometimes we'll put it on the front end where we do like your traditional subscribe and save, but
Yeah.
sometimes we try to like put it in the upsell sequence. So if they buy like 3 more supplements, we'll say like after your 3 more runs out, then you can get like a rebill automatically. We try our best not to give them like subscribe and save because then it takes up margin from us on the front end. And then we try to calculate like the, if 50% of them drop off and the average stick rate is 3 months, if we give them 10% off, for example, like we don't really like giving them a discount for the subscription. We try to
Yeah.
do the subscription like in the upsell sequence, but we try our best to, like get people into a subscription because then we know the reoccurrence will be there.
Interesting,
cool.
man.
That's
And so
very
you
cool.
have you had a green, a probiotic. What else do you have?
We've got turmeric, collagen, like joint pain stuff. We've even got a couple of like skincare products now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And this is still like this is this still coming from your fighting brand, or have you kind of branched off and made new brands?
We made a new brand.
Oh, that's
Gotcha.
cool.
Yeah.
More
So
of
the
like a
fighting,
corporate facing?
exactly. Yeah. So the fighting brand, we have a YouTube channel too. It's called the Tap Brothers, and I'm like the face of the martial arts segment of it.
Hmm.
Whereas all the workout programs, when it was like my workout program, it was like my face on it. It was like, I was the person running all the workouts. And I didn't really like that because then it was always dependent on me. So
Yeah.
then when we did the supplement, we created like an offshoot brand and we called it Applied Science Nutrition.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it was like I could start bringing like other faces of the company
Yeah.
to promote. So I wasn't always like on camera. I didn't have to always shoot ads. I was able to like get other people to help us.
Nice.
That's
That's
cool.
smart, man.
How
Was it
much of your
hard to make that?
traffic,
Oh, go ahead.
how much of your traffic comes from that YouTube channel still?
Honestly, like not a lot.
Yeah.
It's weird because like I feel like everyone's business is so different because I have a friend who runs a YouTube channel and he does fitness like I do, but his is more like educational based and he makes residual every month on month, like multi 5 figures. Whereas for us, we don't. It's it's like not even 90-10% like the ratio. It's way less.
Interesting. Do you
Interesting.
guys release a similar amount of content as each other?
We used to, but then we stopped because it just like, for example, like we had a couple of videos go viral, it gets a couple million hits, and then we'll be able to funnel like a couple thousand people into the email list. But it's not like that'll produce maybe like $3 per email for the month after.
Yeah.
Whereas like the ads can generate that in a day, right?
Yeah,
In sales.
true.
So
Dude, I'm such a big ad guy too. Like people who bank on things going viral, I feel like that's like some guys have made it work, right? Like I think Kevin David's
Yeah.
blown a pretty good YouTube channel up by just finding trending topics. But for the most part, man, I don't think a lot of guys have a lot of success with that.
yeah, that's what I found too. So then that's when I met my other buddy who did it all organically. But his like company is, or even like Kino Body, Greg O'Gallagher, like some of these
Yeah.
people are like the face of the company and they have such a loyal following. They almost become like celebrities. Whereas I'm not sure our channel maybe attracted like a lot of younger people because it was like martial arts and calisthenics. We just did not like we were still doing okay. We still made like multi 5 figures, but then we wanted to scale and take it to the next level, which we found like organic was harder to do.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think with Greg O'Gallagher's brand, I think like it's great, but if he just decides one day that he doesn't want to do that anymore, it's kind of dead in the water.
Right.
I
Yes.
think there'd be a fall off for sure. Unless
Yeah,
you transition, like you've done an excellent job of transitioning over. The other person who's built a good viral brand actually is Damon with DDE.
Yeah,
Thank
Damon's
He's done a
great, man.
phenomenal job.
But I think the other thing with Damon too, like he's tried to bring other people on it to like kind of host it, but he is the face, and it's just like without him, it dies off.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So
Well, that's awesome, man. So as far as your traffic now, man, and do you like do you do a lot of internal? Do you have a lot of affiliates send you traffic? Like how do you kind of work it?
So we have affiliate driving the email traffic mostly, and then we partner with. There's still affiliates, but we consider them like paid affiliates
Mhm.
that will run traffic for us. So then we've spent some on app like native ads, Power Inbox, which is kind of like email, but like
Yeah, you
native
know what,
within.
man? Most people don't talk about Power Inbox, but I know a lot of guys that run quite a bit of volume on there.
Yeah, that worked well for us, to be honest. Live Intent, Power Inbox, like
Yeah.
we like the
Can you
yeah
explain those
most.
for people who don't know? Like, how would you explain Power Inbox and Live Intent?
I guess like just like native ads, which are like the little pictures in the bottom of like a magazine, but then it's within an email. So you read
Yeah.
an email, and at the bottom of it, it's like a little 4 images. It's like you might be interested in, like this fruit like helps you lose belly fat, right? When this thing helps
mhm.
you get whiter teeth, and then you can click on it, and it sends you to the traffic.
Yeah, so it's basically like ads in a big if someone has a big newsletter like wellness.com or something like that, you'll see they have Power Inbox emails at the bottom, or sorry,
Mhm,
ads at the bottom. So it reaches a pretty engaged subscriber base too, because I find
mhm,
those ads are usually deeper in the email. And if
mhm.
you're scrolling that far, like those users are usually pretty strong ones.
Yeah, we really like that traffic, and it was really good for us. When it was like hot, it was amazing actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very
What
cool.
and what have you guys like also got on all the social channels and Google and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, so we run Facebook internally. With Google, like YouTube, we have affiliates that do like our SEO for us.
Hmm.
And then with YouTube, we have somebody internally just starting to run it. We've tested like affiliates, but it's just not a channel that we were able to really blow up in. So maybe it's like we didn't put enough time there, but it just, yeah, we never really blew up with it. But I know the potential, I feel like, is there.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. What about TikTok? Have you guys done anything there?
I've never done anything with TikTok.
You should,
Man,
man.
Yeah,
yeah.
I heard. Actually, there's a brand that I was kind of investing in and helping a friends get started. It was like a development program, therapy, and this person just made like TikTok videos one a day, and then DM them and then close them on like a
Mhm.
high ticket coaching program. And
Hmm.
they were selling like 3 or 4 of these like $6,000 packages every week just from one TikTok video a day.
I believe it.
Wild, man.
100% I believe it.
I
I
love
think
it.
that
That's a
it's just
100K a
like
month business right there. Ad cost is zero. It's like $1 million.
And it and we got there in 6 weeks.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reach on TikTok is just like if so it's so much easier to get something to go viral on TikTok. It's
Hmm.
Hmm.
nuts. And even the ad platform side of things, I personally think their algorithm is so much stronger than Facebook's. Like,
Really?
You
oh
think
yeah.
about too how long Facebook took to develop to get to this point. TikTok's growth has been ridiculous comparatively.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. That's good to know. Wow, yeah, so fuck, true. Maybe I'll play around with TikTok ads after this, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually these
It's
podcasts,
like,
everyone learns.
yeah. If you want an intro to a rep there, I got you too. So let me know.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, I would really, really appreciate that.
Have you
She's
ever
out of
had
Toronto.
yeah, oh yeah, local to you.
Mhm.
Have you ever had issues with Facebook accounts going down?
Oh yeah. We are like, man, I wish I had my credit card still here. We had like a stack of credit cards, like
Oh,
literally
really?
I could hold them
Yeah.
up like this, right?
Yeah, too
Yeah,
funny.
we've been through that mess. Like right now, even now, like we still do it, and like we just have so many agency accounts with different people now, and we just have so many different users and stuff. It's just like it's ridiculous.
We
Yeah.
found at the end of the day, diversification is always key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting better now. We have like a rep, so we don't get
Oh,
shut
nice.
down like we used to. When we did it before, we used to run like the ClickBank aggressive VSL style, and it
Mm.
Mhm.
was just like like burn and churn accounts, right? It was literally like a farm almost, like
Hmm.
farming
Yeah.
Facebook accounts. We would like buy people's Facebooks and then like rent it for like like 4 weeks just to burn their ad account. And it was just like super aggressive. And now we're not doing that anymore. We have like one account, one rep, like they help us. We stay compliant, and yeah.
Yeah. It's probably so much easier to get stuff working too, because I'm assuming the quality on that account's pretty good. Like what we notice is like accounts like go in waves. Like when you first get them and you warm them up and everything, they're great, but then they like kind of trail down as the more you abuse them. Even if you
Yeah.
keep them active, they just kind of like Facebook's like, nah, we're giving you D-list traffic on this.
Yeah, I've seen that happening. I've seen that happening with ours too. Yeah.
So
Interesting, man.
never ending goal, man. It's just like to get good Facebook accounts and keep them up.
What as far as like the back end of the supplement business goes, how do you go about like sourcing products and stuff like that? And then, obviously there's still like some after effects of like COVID, even though most of it's behind us. Do you ever have supply chain issues? And if so, how do you manage that?
Yeah, definitely. We use a facility that basically, yeah, like we had some issues during COVID for sure. Like our lead times were getting a little bit high, and our customers were getting kind of upset. Um, we've had just one company, we use ship offers. Basically, they take care of everything on our back end, so it's just one-stop shop. Whenever we had issues with our customers, we try to just be
Do they
transparent with
even
them.
help you produce the product too, or do you have to send them the product?
Yeah, they produce the product for us too.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So we hook up with our CRM with them, and then when the sale comes through, it's sent directly to them. They'll fulfill it, whatever, and then send the customer the tracking link, and all that good stuff.
And they'll do that on an as needed basis, meaning you don't need to pre-purchase a lot?
Right now, yeah. There's the two options, which is one's on demand and one you can pre-order all the supplements. On demand is, it's better because you don't have to pre-order, but then it's a little bit more expensive.
Gotcha.
Basically drop shipping custom supplements. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What an attractive model, man. That's another reason I love online business is there's solutions like this where you don't need to have like a massive inventory and all that stuff. You can literally just start putting together your advertising, marketing, and then just plug and play.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also have other stuff too that we have the inventory, unfortunately.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we have like cookbooks. When keto was really hot, we came out with like a keto cookbook. When like we had like a vegan cookbook, we had like basically whatever trends.
Did the vegan one not sell?
No, it didn't sell. No, it didn't work.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was very curious about that market because like I don't know, I could be wrong. I know I felt like it was really rising for a second, and I don't know if it's like kind of tailored off or what it is, but it seemed like it was definitely a trending topic for a period of time there.
Yeah, I mean that's what we thought too. So we tested it, and then unfortunately it didn't really stick. Just
yeah, weird. They're such a passionate people. They're really all about it.
Yeah, they're very all about it. Yeah.
My wife's vegan, so I deal with that shit daily.
Yeah. As far as building and growing a business, man, like what are some of the challenges you've run into? Because obviously you came from the world of fighting, and I could be wrong on some of this, but usually in the world of fighting, it's about like you and building your skill. Well, now you have a team and dynamics have changed. What have you kind of noticed as you've grown from like literally zero to doing 10 million a year?
I would say when you're growing, like in your first couple of million, you can almost do things on your own. You can kind of grind through it. But then as you start growing and you want to grow and maintain good sales and good growth, you have to kind of shift your gears from kind of like doing the work to delegating the work. And that was something that I thought was a bit of a pivot. So that was probably the biggest thing I've been kind of trying to do, especially in the past like 2 years, is like be better, like a better team builder and people builder. So like seeking really good people, trying to like put them in a place where they can thrive, and then make them feel good about what we're doing, and then allowing them, I guess, the opportunity to kind of push their limits a little bit, but also not like push too much where they're gonna break.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right in that balance.
Yeah. I feel like team building is something that I'm like kind of just learning right now, and it's probably the hardest thing that I've ever done.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. It's been pretty tough. Yeah. especially I feel like if we're like the doers, right? You almost just want to be like, oh, whatever, like I'll just do it, or I'll just get it all done myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed, man. But you got to do it in order to scale. You really need to understand how to like attract and find good talent, bring them on, and like maintain them long term.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when we did the TikTok thing, the dating business that the personal development business that we grew fairly quickly. When we started that, I told the person, I said, let's just work on SOPs. So like rather than you doing any kind of work, I want you to only write like how to do the work through like a document. So like let's say we hired somebody to do appointment setting, right? I said, don't ever tell them like, hey, if this is what you're doing wrong, this is what you have to do. Put it on a piece of document and improve our training process. So then it was kind of like tedious at first.
Yeah.
So then what happened was like we ended up going through, tons of appointment setters, right? Which is the person inside our DMs engaging with the customers to book a sales call. But then like that allowed us to go through like 50 of them in literally like 10 days and find the one person that was like super, super good. And then that one person was the missing puzzle that we needed to like book, like 3 to 4 good sales calls, like 2 good sales calls a day.
Yeah.
Which allowed us to close, like on average, like half a person a day.
It's crazy that it took you 50 people.
Yeah, we on Upwork, like it was literally like a Google Doc, and it was like read this doc carefully if you want this job, right? It was like an explanation, and at the bottom of it, it was like a task, right? And then they had to like read through it, understand the job, do the task, which took them to a form, which like made everything. So it was all like automated, so we didn't have to do anything.
Yeah,
dude, that's awesome. That's all. I feel like that's such good standard business practice. But like the amount of people that actually do it is so few and far between because it's so painful.
Yeah. That's the thing I'm having a really like, I'm lucky with our supplement business because it grew, I think I'd say like kind of steadily. We have a pretty good team that we've kind of like molded through time. So we're fairly reliable. So when things need to get done, like we're like creating a sales page, everyone knows what to do. We get the copy, the marketing person designs it, and then we rush it out. And it's kind of like repetitive after a while. So I would say like, that's I guess,
As far as like finding good people, man, you mentioned Upwork. Have you really outsourced a lot of roles in your companies like across the globe, or do you have people locally, or how do you go about finding people?
I have both. I have locally and around the world. I would say my key people are probably like a 50-50 mix. So I mean, I'm always looking for good people, like even family members or friends that express an interest, and I feel like they have good potential. I try to like train people. I try to bring people up if I can. I feel like because for me, I mean, my company is not like that big, so we can't afford like to hire like the A+ team people. But I've heard from my mentors who are kind of like mentoring me. They're like, oh, you got to go hire like the best of the best, right? And I kind of wish I could do that, but I feel like because we're still like up and coming, I don't have that capacity. So I've been trying to find people that have great like development, great like soft skills, and I'm like, okay, you're hardworking, you're a great team player, and like a little bit about marketing. Well, then come join our team and then grow with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to someone yesterday actually about like just hiring more media buyers on my side of things, and someone's like, oh yeah, well, he knows how to like do Facebook advertising and all this stuff. And I was like, honestly, man, I'd rather have someone who didn't know how to do Facebook advertising, that was a grinder that would like capable of learning it and curious, than like have someone that knows how to do it and just didn't have that grind in them, because I feel like anything can be taught if they want it bad enough. And I feel like the curiosity and the hustle and everything is more important at the end of the day than the skill set.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So
I love it.
I agree with you.
How do you go about evaluating whether someone has that drive? Because I feel like the hard part, like, actually bit of an interesting story. The way a friend of mine hires people is he's like, how much do you want to get paid? And they'll say, 80 grand or whatever. He's like, okay, cool. I'll give you that payment. However, here's your role. We agree on what your role is. And when you don't do your role, you get less pay. So they work it out, right? And he says every single time, he's like, I start deducting things from people's salary because people don't do certain aspects of their role. And he's like, everyone, when you first meet them, presents this best side of them. It's like when you're dating, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best side. But over time, you're like, oh man, this guy's attention to detail actually kind of sucks. It's like not a strength.
Mhm.
And so I thought that was interesting. I didn't really get on board with that philosophy, but I thought what he said was accurate. Like over time, you start to really see who people are. So my question for you is like, how do you go on the front end? How are you able to tell people who have that drive and have that initiative versus people that don't? And like, have there ever been times when, you know, you've essentially been wrong?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we hired like our last operations director, who's a pretty important role for the company, we tried to put in like a task, an assessment task to do. We have them take a test for competency, like not like an IQ test, but essentially like I forgot what the website was called, but they can give you like 5 different tests, like attention to detail, like problem solving, like whatever, right? So I gave all these tests over. We gave them a task like I said, like with the Google Doc and all that, to try to really grill them, right? And then I even had them come on a call with the rest of my team, everything. It was like a 1 to 2 week hiring process. And it was
Crazy.
great. They were like amazing. This lady was like on par. She was like hard during the interview, right? And then when it came time to work, it was like a totally different story, right?
Crazy.
Then eventually it was like, man, how did I remember reflecting after and be like, man, how, like, what am I supposed to do in that case? Like, how do I prevent that from happening again?
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't know because the person that I ended up hiring for that role was actually someone who I just randomly hired one night for a customer service role because something happened and like one of my email accounts wasn't checked. There was like 2,000 emails in there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go hire one person, get them to just like work at it slowly and see how long they can do it. I gave it to this person, and I remember she did it in like 3 days. I was like, man, you checked like 700 emails in like a day, and she just did it, right? So I don't know, like, and then I brought her up to this position, and I didn't know if she was gonna do it or not, but she ended up just learning and hustling, and then she learned everything, and now she's my full time like operations director, and she's been killing it.
That's amazing.
Dude,
Is she an is she an outsourcer?
Yeah, she's from the Philippines.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I love Filipinos, man. They're my
yeah,
people.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, she's amazing.
that's crazy. I've had like some interesting things like on my end too, just like people I brought on that like surpassed expectations, and then other people I've brought on that come with like insane resumes and literally just like complete duds.
Yeah, it was. I can totally agree with that, and so I'd like to see your opinion too. Like, what do you guys do? Because I know you run a pretty successful thing too. So like,
Yeah, so I try to hire for drive as well, man. I try to find people who are just super motivated and teach them the skill. However, I've been starting to pivot. A friend of mine, he recently got his company valued by two different PE firms, and he got appraised for 2.3 billion, another one for 2.8, and he owns most of it.
holy
Um,
shit, it's
and I've
insane.
learned a ton from him, man. And he said, just due to our revenue and our growth, he's like, you can afford really good people. He's like, I'd start bringing them on. So I'm really learning a lot from him, man. I've also been diving hard into the Kobe index. Are you familiar with that? So you check it out. It's pretty
I'll
interesting,
write it
man.
down.
I don't have it figured out yet, but it's something I want to use. I joined a program called Strategic Coach. It's like 10 grand a year, but you meet up with other entrepreneurs every quarter, and you
Mhm.
basically, talk about what what did well last quarter, where you need help, etc. Because I really want to figure out the hiring thing too. I've really found as far as like the business growth has been concerned, bringing on good people has been the key to get there, man. Because at the end of the day, you can only do so much. So being able
Mhm.
to find good people, bring them on, grow them, and also, man, tap into like their brilliance. I feel like everyone has something, like everyone has stuff they're bad at, but then they have this one thing that they're freaking remarkable at. And if you can get them to use the thing they're remarkable at in your business, I feel like you'll bring the best out of them, both personally, because like it comes easy to them, they enjoy it, but two, just the leverage again, your business, because the people they're competing against aren't going to be remarkable as they are. So that gives you a leg up. So that's like something we try to do internally, man, is just to constantly find like what is, what's Mike's or what's Gabe's superhuman power. Because if you're doing that day in, day out, man, that's where you get the most leverage for the business overall. So that's been our thought process.
Well, yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Yeah, that makes total sense. And that seems like that's amazing.
Yeah. It's definitely helped us grow, man. But it's interesting going forward. For me personally, like as an entrepreneur, I'm really good at like finding new opportunities and creating them. But I also move, so I'll do so many different things that like I haven't been strong at organization and systemizing. So that's something I'm trying to really backfill in now. So that's kind of my current growing thing. As far as you, what would you say that you're naturally good at, and what aspect of the business do you excel in?
I also have that. I have the same thing where I try to do a lot of things, and I've been really trying to focusing on like one thing and saying no to a lot of possible opportunities that I'd say would be like great opportunities, good opportunities, and trying to focus just on the one thing, which is kind of like the supplements. And even within that, we've been trying to kind of been like, okay, like how do we want to focus? We want to use one product and really go hard on that and trying to crack it on multiple different platforms. So I would say, yeah, like the thing that I feel like I'm good at is if I can focus on just doing one thing and kind of doing the structural, like the business development and supportive role, I can have my team kind of like do the actual work and execute on it. So I would say I'm good at kind of like strategizing. And if I can focus on the one thing, strategizing on it and seeing the big picture, and then kind of having the team supporting them and allowing them to kind of pull what they have to do to get the job done.
Yeah. You know what's interesting actually? Do you know Layla Hermosi?
Yeah, definitely.
Dude, did you read her thing she posted on Instagram today?
No, I didn't know.
Man, I thought it was so good.
Yeah,
I'll read just like the highlight that I really appreciated. So she posted this thing on Instagram today. She said, a few of my clients recently asked me the same question. What's holding me back from hitting 10 million a year? She says, after thinking about it for a while, I realized there are only 5 primary growth restricting variables. Here's what they are. And I won't go through all of these, but the one I really liked, or the one, this one, number 3, fear of reinvesting in talent. So she's like, many times founders are afraid to invest in top talent. For me, this was because it's intimidating to hire great people. They reveal your incompetence. I don't really feel like that's true for me personally. Like I would love for people to poke out my incompetence because that's a learning opportunity. So I don't have ego attached, but I could see how for some people it'd be true. And then the second one, it's intimidating to spend a lot of money on talent. What if you lose it? Anyways, the next line I thought was really strong. She's like, it's probably better for you to be a generalist and augment yourself with specialists. That really hit home with me today, because I'd say one of the best things that's helped me the most, man, is like in our world, when you're running lead gen, you're like a Facebook guy, a TikTok guy, an email guy, whatever. I've literally done a bit of everything. And so when I see the landscape, I feel like I see the landscape far differently than most people, because I see all the different leverage points in between. And all those different leverage points are just opportunities to make money. And so while, some people campaigns won't be working, for us, they are, because I've just found a new way to do it a little bit differently because I have a more robust knowledge. But I'm never going to be the best TikTok buyer, Facebook buyer, whatever it is. So to like be a generalist, but augment yourself with specialist, I thought was a pretty good strategy. And I think in some ways I've done that, but I think there is an opportunity to be far more intentional about it.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially with like copywriting lead gen, right? If you can get like a specialist that's like a copywriter, that's like all they write, even within copyright, all they write is long form VSL for women over 40.
Yeah.
Right. That person would probably crush it way more than like any
Man,
of
I
us
was
can.
literally writing up a compensation model this morning for a copywriter, because I was looking at my numbers. And if you think about a copywriter, the value they bring, at the end of the day, like say last month we did $1 million, right? As an example. if I brought a copywriter and they got me like a 25% bump, which isn't hard, that's just a headline test or potentially even a color change on a landing page, 25%, right? That would be an extra $250,000 profit.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't cost you more. It's the same amount of traffic regardless. And I'm like, man, what a freaking opportunity. And then if you look, and this is where it gets real fun, imagine you do just 5% better a month. What's your copywriter like / page optimization? And maybe that's 2 roles. I'm still working that out. But I'm like, when the compounding effect of that is just ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
I'm in the middle of hiring copywriters right now too. And it's what I find comical is like the price difference from one to the next for the same task. Like I got one guy and he was going to give me, what was it? 5 TikTok / Facebook scripts, and then like 5 long form copies for Facebook ads for like $260. The next guy, it was $500 a pop each. And I was like, wow, that's just so different. But like, and my wife, she's like, oh, do you want to like just wait on this guy because he's too expensive? But I'm like, but maybe his copy is worth that much more, you know? So I definitely want to test both. But
yeah, and I think that's the answer, man, testing both. Because at the end of the day, for like, if you're going to spend $100,000 and you got to pay someone $3,000, like that ad could run you, $1 million easy.
100%. And I think that copy's like kind of the biggest, like Tyler and I were talking about this before, and like the biggest holdup for us is like creatives, and copy is like our biggest limitation here, because like at the end of the day, and I'm not like taking this away from anybody because like I'm a media buyer too, but like media buying, once you understand the core principles of it, it's basically just pressing buttons and knowing what metrics to look for. The skill set's really in the copy and the advertising and the creative side of things, So I feel like if you can eliminate that issue in your company, like there's no limitation on growth.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's funny.
Go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just saying, we were literally just talking about that. Like my Facebook person and I today, we said that exact same thing.
Yeah, man. I honestly think like for the most part, the playing field's pretty level right now. Meaning, as far as like technology goes, no one's technology is that much better than someone else's. Like, sure, there's like aspects of it, but for the most part, like it's pretty level of a playing field, right? And maybe I'm wrong on that, but like where I think the biggest opportunity lies, which I think I'm not wrong on, is being creative, being different. If you can hit at something far different than the way other people are doing it, you will get that traffic. You will win those bids, and you'll compete and beat everyone else. So I think investing in content, investing in creativity, and like I've referenced this before, but shoot, I forgot what it's called, but it's like something I pay $100 masterclass, I think it is. There's one with Bob Iger, who was the Disney CEO, and he said Disney's greatest asset was creativity. Biggest asset, man, of a multi-billion-dollar corporation that we've all heard of. Like if it's creativity for them, like certainly for us, it's got to be a huge aspect of what we're doing. But I think that's the defining thing. People who are the most creative right now, who can look at things and position them differently, I think they're the ones that are going to win.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. We were just saying that like running ads now, we do so broad targeting, right? On Facebook, it's literally like 30 plus. That's it, right? We don't like
maybe we should be repivoting our company and be more of like a copy and copywriter and creative company, more so than a media buying company, and put the main focus on that and just
at our core we are,
for sure. But we don't I don't like think of it like that though.
That's what I'm saying though. Like that's what we probably actually are. We just never consider it like that.
Yeah.
How many like creatives you guys test, let's say like a week?
It depends how lazy my team is. But like when we're going hard, man, like I know the guys are cranking out like in one copy session, they'll probably make like 20 different long form copies for Facebook ads. And then when they're doing like scripts, like I think they'll do like 12 like every couple days or so, give or take. Like, and I'm just thinking about like off the top of my head. So I don't know, at peak when they're hitting hard, like we're probably going through like 200 a week, maybe 300 a week. And like those aren't all, they're not all fresh. Like some of them are just like hook changes and stuff like that. But like, yeah, But it's so funny, man, whenever like our guys fall off and they're just like, oh, like I'm kind of having a slow week or anything, they fire it up. They like, I see the shift in them. They start like writing out new stuff. And then in like 2 days, they're like hitting me up. They're like, hey, just letting you know that I'm about to scale like hard. And I'm like, all you had to do was just test some fucking copy. That was it.
Always
Every time. It's the key to success, man, because like I think that you can be a shit media buyer, and I'm not calling anyone on my team a shit media buyer, they're all great, but you can be a shit media buyer and have great copy skills, and like you'll win way more than the great media buyer that has terrible copy skills.
Yeah.
Or creative skills, I should say, because it's more than one aspect. But
yeah, we're seeing that too. So do you guys run just like lead gen for yourself, or are you guys running like, you said you have a team of media buyers, so do you have like one person on Facebook or?
On my side, it's all affiliate stuff. Tyler, he can speak for himself, but he has a couple offers that he runs.
But at the end of the day, we're just selling the call centers. That's actually one thing I've been thinking about as well, is figuring out where to vertically integrate. Because we had one of our clients were their biggest lead provider, and I think it was the year before, they sold for over $100 million, and like I would not get $100 million. Yet we're, and they did the work, good for them. They crushed it. I love them as clients. They're some of my favorite. But I'm like, it just shows me how much money we're leaving on the table by not actually servicing the leads too, as well as all the strategic advantages that come with it. Like at the end of the day, if you can pay like what they're paying for a lead and making a profit off that, not including all the auxiliary opportunities that exist, like you're just doing really freaking well. So it really opened my eyes to like where I should be looking at the whole, because like even for your business, the fact that you can service those clients, like you can upsell them different products, etc. But you're still going to pay, the same amount on the front end regardless. And so it just, again, I'm leaving so much money on the table that if I can make a few small tweaks, like we could be making so much more money at the end of the day and have a more sellable asset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you what's like, I guess, what vertical is your leads in?
We do like a ton of stuff, man. Like we'll do auto insurance, we'll do sell leads to lawyers, we'll do go back to school, home refi, solar, home warranty, literally
basically anything that works.
Broker. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. So that's incredible. So you guys can, so just straight like opt-in email plus phone number, and then you pass it off to somebody that can like call
there's
them.
some qualifying questions too, that people have to like, they have to be a qualified lead, but more or less, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun too, man. I feel like, I mean, you're in this industry too, right? It's just like once you get something that works and you just crank on it, like nothing's better than that.
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
What as far as the direction you're going, where is it that you're kind of looking to now, and what's your plan for getting there?
I mean, this year we really tried to focus on building out the brand. So I hired a couple of coaches that were teaching me about brand building and like how to exit a company. So smart. I hired like Roland Frazier and Joel Marion. I joined this mastermind.
Oh, nice. How have those been so far?
Really good. Yeah, really
Are those
good.
two separate ones?
Two separate, yeah. So Joel's mastermind is called 100 Million Mastermind. And Roland Frazier, I just hired him just one-time fee to be my like mentor, basically.
Wow,
that's very cool, man.
Dude, the first time I saw Roland speak, I'm like, you're the smartest guy in our industry. Just because the concepts he had was like certainly something I've never seen anywhere else.
Yeah, he's incredible. Yeah, he's incredible the way,
What kind of nuggets have you kind of picked up from him that you're open to sharing?
Yeah, so he told me basically, my question was kind of like, hey, I know you buy and sell companies. So like when you buy and then you sell, like what do you implement to like make it sell for a higher multiplier? So like what are the top three things? I think I asked him like what he does, and he was like, okay, look for like look for multiple channels of revenue. So not just like one source, and then more recurring that you can have, the better. The brand has to be able to survive like without like it can't be my face. Otherwise, if I quit, then they won't buy from you. What else do you say? You need to have a lot of SOPs in place. So every director that you have must have somebody underneath them. So if they quit, they can be replaced by them. And then you should have like training programs in every department so you can hire people on the mass very quickly.
Interesting. Very cool, man. What if you don't mind me asking, what did it cost to hire Roland?
I Yeah, it should be okay if I tell you that, right? Like 25 grand, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
man,
not
that's
bad.
20.
honestly worth
Yeah,
it.
that's not bad at all.
Oh yeah, I think it's like, to
Short
me it was
term.
a no-brainer. Yeah, it was. I mean, Joel's mastermind was 100,000 for the year,
Yeah,
and like
Wow.
with Roland, I got to work with him. I mean, like I got to work with Joel too, 101. It was great, but it was like 100K, right? But then you also get like the events and you meet all these people. With Roland, it was
Mhm.
just like one-on-one calls, and there was no like set time. Like today, if I wanted to hit him up, he would just continue mentoring me and helping me. So it's been
well,
great. It's like I just pay for that relationship, which I
yeah,
think is
yeah,
really really helpful.
totally.
So
Mhm.
it's been really great. Picking his brain has been super helpful.
That's amazing. You know, it's funny when you talk about dropping like 100 grand on mentors, 25 grand. Like I remember like because I went to school for engineering and I worked in the field for a few years and stuff like that. I couldn't have possibly imagined doing that. And even a super good friend of mine, he's a doctor, and you know we chatted about it. He's like, I just don't understand how you see the value in this, but he's like, I think I'm starting to get it now. Where now I'm like, man, 100 grand for the right advice is a drop in the bucket for what it's worth. Like
Mhm.
one relationship could literally, you know, I mean, if you think about Joel's $100 million mastermind, like I know some of the people in there. If just one of those guys promote your offer, that could be $1 million for you.
Yeah,
So like
100%. Yeah.
it totally makes sense. But I think it's hard for a lot of people to initially wrap their head around that. Even Alex, man, like she learned from Emily initially. And look how her business has been transformed. And she ran with the information, made it happen, obviously. So kudos to Alex for crushing it. But like just being around the right people, man, can completely transform your business. And Gabe and I have had this discussion. There's never an investment I've made where I've walked out and being like, man, that was a waste of money. It's always at a minimum been double what I paid.
Yeah.
If you can
Like
quantify the actual value, it's always been worth double. And I've had
Mhm.
guys I paid six figures for and stuff. And then again, like some of the best investments I've ever made, I wouldn't have been able to grow to this point without it.
yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, it's funny. We had this conversation once again with someone earlier today, and it's just like I feel like they were like, "Oh yeah, you're getting interviewed on this podcast. What are you gonna talk about?" And I was like, "Man, honestly, like we talk about the same thing, right? It's like the success leads clues, right? And at this point, it's
Mhm.
like yeah, you got to get around the right people. You got to pay for networking, right? If somebody doesn't get
Mhm.
it, then it's
Yeah.
just like you don't get it, right? But you got to do it.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
even like going to Grant Cardone's event, or I did you know Manny Koshbin?
yeah, yeah. I like. Oh man, I love that guy. I follow him
Dude,
pretty
so
close on YouTube.
yeah, I did Manny's private mastermind group,
Mhm.
and he has two price points. I won't reveal them, but they're pretty substantial. But man, the advice Manny gives is literally unreal. And if you want to
Mhm.
play at the level he's playing at, like there was one opportunity we found where I forget how much it was, but I think it was like 10 or 20 million bucks for the building. And initially everything looked good. And then Manny gave us a list of questions to ask. As soon as we asked the questions, they came back like this deal we would have lost a crap ton of money on. But like without Manny's advice, like the investment paid off there in that one deal alone, because I would have lost a lot of freaking money if it wasn't for Manny. Like the power or the value you get from working with mentors, like in some respects, almost can't even be measured.
Yeah, especially with someone like that on that level, especially when you're
Hmm.
playing on that level of buying properties, it's kind of scary, right? Like if you're something that you don't see because you don't have the experience, like I,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
feel like that's such a smart move on you for having someone on his caliber kind of like supporting you.
Yeah, it's been great, man. Like I think it's every Monday you have to send your deals, and then Tuesday he does everyone's deals live. So it's a good leverage of time for him. And then you also get to learn from what everyone else is doing, right? And everyone in that group too, it's like because of the price point, it weeds people out. So it's a pretty eclectic, like a not eclectic, but like a pretty unique group that's been like everyone in their own rights done really well. And then Grant Cardone's real estate event. I've been really like pushing hard in real estate myself, just because we need to do something with the profits. Um, Anyways, I went to Grant Cardone's event too, man. Like I thought that guy was like a bit nuts. You know what I mean? When you watch him on Instagram or whatnot. But dude, that guy pushes you to think to a level that you have never thought of before. Like in his world, he probably thinks he can freaking fly, bro. just because he has no mental limits whatsoever that I noticed. It's crazy.
Wow, that's insane.
I think he said
love
he
that
now
shit.
manages like 5 billion worth of real estate. Like he hasn't even been on the scene that long. People make
Wow.
whole careers out of this, and Grant rolls on and grows this net worth. Just ridiculous, man.
Wow, that's insane. I've always been so curious. 'Cause you're out in DC, right?
I grew up there. I live in Florida now.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I wanted to ask you about like the tax questions around our Canadian real estate because it seems like it's kind of like the advantages that you have in America is not really seen in Canada.
I'm not sure how like the Canadian stuff works, but like owning real estate in America is probably one of the best things you can do. I don't know about like the timing and stuff, but as from a tax perspective, dude, you can just like there's just if you do it right, in some of the examples I've seen, you just end up never paying taxes.
Wow.
You just keep on rolling over that money over and over again, pulling it out, rolling it over. If you're good at real estate, man, you just write your own checks.
Do you know if there's anything like that in Canada? Because I've been exploring that for a while and I did not see anything like that.
I haven't seen anything to the same level. Like in the US, we have stuff like cost segregation. There's that 1031 exchange where you can roll over your profits. There's
Yeah.
things called opportunity zones. There's a lot of tax opportunities in America surrounding real estate. Where in Canada, I'm most familiar.
If
But
anyone
there is,
listening is though, hit up Mike and give him
yeah.
the insights. God, man, that's cool. I feel like we keep going on like tons of shit, but it's been about an hour.
Hot damn.
Yeah. Mike, if
It's
you had
always-
any advice, man, for people that wanted to start a supplement brand, what would you give?
I would say get really good at writing copy or
Yeah.
partnering with somebody that's good at writing copy. Make some good connections. Start with affiliate traffic, I think, because that's so you can not spend too much money on ads. Or if you want to start on ads, just be good with data and be able to pivot quickly. Something doesn't work, try to test something new, and I'd say that's pretty much it.
Nice. Easy.
Yeah, very cool, man.
Easy peasy.
Some
Tyler, you got
tools
any
of
more
foundation.
questions?
No, man, let's definitely keep in touch though. There's
Yeah.
lots I'm doing. I've actually been buying some real estate in Canada too, so we can always bounce ideas like that if you want as well. I actually think we should do like in the last probably 2 years, I've been doing a hard focus on real estate. Uh, I always say it, the most dumb successful people I've ever met have been real estate investors. Like the simplicity of just buying and holding something, and 2 years later, it's worth $2 million more than you paid. Like it's so freaking simple, man. It's crazy. And then even some of the deals I've had an opportunity to take advantage of literally been mind blowing. So I almost think we should do an episode on real estate sometime. Because I think for generating cash, I don't think there's anything better than an online business. The risk to reward ratio is ridiculous. You can scale so quickly, but at the end of the day, you got to do something with that money because it doesn't do any good in the bank. So you got to invest it, man. And I think real estate's one of the best channels.
Yeah, that's literally exactly how I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playbook, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Awesome.
Well, I'm glad we got to meet you, man. Thank you for everyone listening today. For everyone watching, please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube. And for everyone listening, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, or Stitcher. All of the things.
That's right.
Give us those reviews. Yes. Anyway, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, man. Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was great chatting with you too.
Likewise,
See you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.